Hi friends, I'm in front of you with Equity Outlook. And look at the change in the sentiment. I had come in front of you last month, same time. A lot of you people were little in a panicking mode. Why? Because market did extremely bad in the month of October. The fear psychosis had taken over our sentiments. And rightly so, there's nothing wrong with that. Hamas-Israel war, US bond yield going up, crude oil prices going up, FII selling heavily. All these factors impacted sentiment so badly. I can tell you, some of the investors I spoke to बोलता सब अभी इन्वेस्ट करके कोई फायदा नहीं है. अभी तो मार्केट ऐसा ही चलने वाला है इलेक्शन तक. And when I'm going to present the data for the month of November, we will all get surprised how market did extremely well in terms of sentiment. It really bounced back very, very strongly. So before I begin my presentation, a small disclaimer that this webinar is only for an education purpose. Whenever you invest in the equity market, please consult your financial advisor. Investment in securities market are subject to market risk and past performance is no indicator of future performance. Now, if you look at it, this was the month for the risk on strategy. If you remember, in my one of the webinars, I had mentioned about if the crypto starts going up, that means this market is on a risk on method and risk on mode. And November was absolutely risk on mode. Large cap moved up, small and mid cap moved up. Indian stock market touched $4 trillion US market cap. Am I right? And that's another milestone that we have hit. Nifty touched all-time high. FPI, who have been seller in the month of September and October, have turned positive in the month of November. And if you really want to understand what is risk-on strategy and what the sentiment underlying, look at the amount of response IPO received. Unprecedented response that has been received to the IPO market. And what is the good about thing is that post-listing also they further moved up. So they got listed at the higher prices and they further moved up. Of course, today being the first day of December, some of the IPO that got listed taken a corrections, but they're still commanding at a very, very high valuation as compared to what they came out with the IPO price. So clearly November was a month for the risk on. But having said that, there is one data which is little worrisome, and I'll come to that data in a little later part of my presentation. I would have been happy if that data would have been different numbers altogether, and that would have made me really, really happy. But I'll come to that little later. Let me not spend that time. Let me not take that topic now. Let me come to that slide, and I will discuss about that. So before I go on the economy, one good news that which is not part of my presentation because just came as a breaking news. GST collection jumped by 15% to 1.611 lakh crore. If you look at it, whether it's a GST collection, whether it's a direct tax collection, I think the growth has been extremely good. We are growing in double digits. If you look at the net direct tax collection, this net direct tax collection includes refund that has been issued by the income tax department. उसको देने के बाद भी 21.8% growth in the revenue collection till first week of November. Income tax department not come out with that, so most probably they will come in next couple of days. Updating for the December also, till November or for December first week. Now that growth is more pronounced in the personal income tax. Now that's a very happy situation. Why I'm saying so? That means more and more people in India are earning more, and since they are earning more, they are paying more tax. That means the consumption cycle should remain robust. GST tells you at what's happening at the corporate level. Personal income tax tells you what's happening at the individual level, like you and me. We are in the election mode, and of course I've covered in my presentation, so I'll come to that. What is an exit poll and what is our sense at this point of time based on the whatever the little reading we have done about the election. This is I think in next couple of months or not couple of months, but more than that, till the general election gets over, till April, we will see one or another kind of a soap coming out for the common citizens. Why? Because and that's what we have seen, where PM has announced that free ration would be given to more than 80 crore population. And I think we can see some more announcement on similar line in next 4 to 5 months. Now the question that comes to mind, what happens to the fiscal deficit if that's going to happen? I think what is happening is, fortunately, the growth in the tax collection has been robust. And that gives enough leverage to the government of India to manage this kind of a dole out that to the electorate without hurting the fiscal deficit. One other good thing which has happened, if you remember, India's exports have a two portion, goods and services, am I right? I'm talking goods exports. It's increased by 3.33% Y on Y for October 2023. In fact, it has been declining for many months in a row. What does this indicate? It's a good indication for the global economy. That means the demand for goods are increasing in the global market. And that's the reason we saw 3% growth in the exports for the goods. While tax collections are good, GST collections are good, exports are good, inflation is coming down. We are at 4-month low inflation. I'm talking about CPI at 4.9%, and WPI continues to remain in a negative territory 7th month in a row. That's a good one. But RBI is a little concerned. RBI is concerned about too much growth happening in unsecured loans. What is unsecured loans? The loan that you have taken against credit card, the personal loan that you have taken, but something which is not against any security or assets. That is called unsecured loan. And if you look at, RBI has been warning time and again to the complete banking and the finance sector, please control your unsecured loan, because that's where there could be a possibility of bubble being formed. RBI kept on saying, but there was no slowdown either from the NBFC or from the banks. And eventually RBI said, अगर आप लोग मेरी नहीं सुनते तो मुझे कुछ करना पड़ेगा. And that's exactly what RBI did. They've increased the risk weightage. In other words, as a bank or as an NBFC, my ability to lend goes down because my capital, I have to keep high percentage of money in my reserve. So two things will happen. Number one, cost of borrowing will go up. And number two, NIM margin will come down. So these two things are going to happen going forward, and that's what RBI did it. The story of good news continued. In India, GDP revised further up, not revised, but it was expected little less than 7%. We grew at 7.6% in the second quarter. But the bad news is that ICRA believes that we should not expect any big private capex. Remember the word emphasize on the private and the big. Some small capex will keep happening, but large capex they are not saying because of global uncertainty. That is ICRA's view. Our job is to give you the information. Let's look at the US economy. जो इंडिया में हो रहा है वो यूएस में हो रहा है. Inflation 3.2%. 2.5 years low inflation. And even if you look at the core inflation, which excludes food and energy, came down to 4% from 4.1% of previous month. While in the month of October, retail sales was little low, but we all love sales, am I right? Discount में हमको बहुत कुछ अच्छी चीज़ अच्छी लगती है. And that exactly what has happened because of Black Friday and thanks the Cyber Monday, the sales has been really very, very good. The initial data suggests that sales have gone up by 6 or 7% Y on Y during the same period. So I think that we could see the data coming out should be good. And again, we are moving into a December, which is again a festival in the US. So there could be more demand for the goods and services. Fed, seeing that the inflation seems to be coming under control, decided not to hike any interest rate on its 1st November FOMC meeting. And if you look at the FOMC market, the future market believes that FOMC is going to do 3 cuts in 2024. And each cut would be of 25 bips, totaling 75 bips in 2024. So when I come in front of you the next month I'm not going to give a prediction for 1 month, but I'm going to expand and I'm going to say what is going to happen for the full year 2024. And I'll give my sense how many rate cuts we should expect, if at all we should expect, in 2024 from the Fed. Moody downgraded US credit outlook to negative from stable. Don't get confused with the country rating with the credit outlook. Am I right? They are both separate. Indian economy is doing well, but US economy is also doing well. And the Q2 numbers, GDP growth, has been revised upward to 5.2% from previous estimates of 4.9%. And one more good thing happened, that eventually Xi from China and Biden, the Chinese premier and the previous president, they both had a discussion. Meeting was not happening for many, many years, and I think there seems to be some message, there seems to be a thaw between the what was there, that relationship going little low. There is a possibility that the relation can improve between US and the China. So we discuss about India, we discuss about the US. Let's look at some of the international news very quickly. Eurozone also seeing a very nice decline in the inflation. And that's a very 2.4% in November versus 2.9% of October. And even the core inflation moving down to 3.6%. That now people are saying there may not be a need for ECB to hike any interest rate. So slowly and steadily, I think the world market started believing that inflation demon has been completely managed. And if at all there will be any trajectory there, it would be downward. And if that is so, the central banks in 2024 would be in active mode to reduce the rate of interest. On expected line, Saudi extended its 1 million barrel production cut of crude oil to in 2024 also. Reason is very simple, crude oil prices are coming down and gold prices are at all-time high. Let's look at China. Two things happen in China. One is the Chinese now believes that instead of focusing on manufacturing and real estate, let's focus on consumption and services. So from manufacturing, they are moving towards services to drive the growth. And from real estate, they want to go to the consumption. They are very confident that they should be able to grow at 5%. And I think Chinese is making, the local government is making a lot of efforts to see that how best we can revive the Chinese economy. Well, that's on the good news. The bad news is that pneumonia, which happened in children, I think it made world little scary, and even World Health Organization has to ask for details from China. Now that's what has happened. But let's look at the power of bull in the month of November. What you can see, we started at 60,000, 63,591, going to 66,988. What a jump that we have seen. And almost every day, market moved up. Only on 5 days, which you can see here, 9th November, 13th November, 17th November, 28th November and 24th November, the market declined. Otherwise, this market was constantly on a upward move. Very smart move that we can see that. If you remember, I don't know how many people remember last month when I made a prediction. I said that, let's play the video if you can play the video, what I said last time. There is a high probability, remember these are all probability, I'm talking about nothing called sure shot. Since in the month of October it is 3% down, probability is high that in the month of October, November, it could be in the green. But these are all probability. As you can see, the market moved up, and normally whenever the market has gone down by 3% or more, next month normally is a green, and that's what exactly is. See, nowadays I become more started using the higher probability. Why? Because you people held me accountable. वो कुछ नहीं होता रे, you had suggested, वो तो हुआ नहीं. That's why I need to keep focusing now more on probability. Because हम कोई भगवान तो है नहीं. हम एक prediction करते हैं in a good faith. Sometimes it may work out, may not work out also. So that's why I'm using more and more probability as a word, so that you don't hold me accountable. But what data suggests will come in front of you and tell you. So if you look at it, the market went up by 4.9% in the month of November. Will it go further up? I'll come to that little later. Advanced decline ratio, which used to remain, was struggling to grow beyond 1.1, has moved to 1.2. Now, if you look at the kind of gain that we have seen in mid and small cap, I would have been more happy this ratio to be much higher, but that's not the case. But that's a part of life. Market cap, as I said, $4 trillion US, and you look at 21 lakh crore 26 lakh crore we added in the month of November. And I think you look at this graph, I think we are at all-time high in terms of market cap. 204 lakh crore going up to 337 lakh crore in 2.5 years or so. And that's the power of Indian market. We again say the kind of amount of wealth India created in the last 30 years will be equal to next 5 years. this trend is not going to stop for the very simple reason Indian economy will do well, and if Indian economy does well, there is no reason why Indian market should not do well. Now the data, that worry that I was talking about. Yesterday, if you go to NSEindia.com and look at the volume was 1.6 lakh crore, 6-7 lakh crore. Very, very high volume. Why this is high volume? Because normally 70-80 हजार करोड़ होता है. कल डबल हो गया. And due to that, for one day that spike, the average volume looks 70,000. That's higher than the previous month. Am I right? But if I remove that last day of 30th November, the average volume comes down to only 65,748 crore, which is lesser than the month of October, which was not a great month. What does this mean? I would have been happy market going up with the higher volume. I'm not so much happy market going up with the lower volume. And that creates some amount of doubt in the mind. Where are we? What do we need to do? I'll come to that in the later part of my presentation. Indices, mid cap 9.6, small cap 9.4, Nifty 5.5, Sensex 4.9. Each and every sector is in green. And the beauty is that Nifty Bank is also in green. Of course, underperformed by 3.8% despite RBI coming out with that regulation. The point I want to convey is that many experts in the market are suggesting that mid and small caps should come down. The wait for them is becoming more and more longer. This is Indices Performance in 2023. And again, as you can see, mid and small cap are in the forefront in terms of creating wealth, while the Nifty is 11 or 12% only. Almost 3.5x to 4x kind of a gain that has been made by this. And bank and the metal underperformed very significantly, while IT outperformed the Nifty 50. And even if you look at the pharma did extremely well, up by 29%. This is this number. What did well? Company like BPCL, Hero MotoCorp. This company has getting a lot of negative news because of promoters related this and that, so on and so forth, and yet is up by 24%. So I keep saying, सालों साल तक कुछ नहीं होता है और महीनों में बहुत कुछ हो जाता है. Hero MotoCorp is a classical example. If you look at the Hero MotoCorp last 5-6 years, it was going nowhere. In 1 month, I again repeat, in 1 month, it went up by 24%. Look at Bajaj Auto, 15%, Mahindra, 13%, Tata Motors, 12.4%. It's completely, Eicher Motors, 18.2%. If you look at this, I think auto seems to be the name of the game. And if you remember when I was there with Joyson other day, we did mention about auto ancillary. And one of the reasons is that auto sales are going to be good. Auto ancillary should be one of the biggest beneficiary of that. But Bajaj Finance was down almost 4.9% in State Bank of India. Otherwise, Nifty फिर सब कुछ ऊपर चला. Now, there's another learning for all of us. If my memory serves me right, I think Bajaj Finance has not done so well in 2023. Let's look at this data, if I can get this data. It's not in top performance, that much I can see. So sometimes, some companies which was a darling of the investors, not only they will continue to be darling of the investors forever. And that's why I said you need to be very, very sure of what stocks you have in the portfolio and be smart. If you look at it in 2023, Tata Motors topped the list. Number 2 company is Bajaj Auto. Number 5th is Hero MotoCorp. And the 10th is Mahindra and Mahindra. Against complete dominance by this one. L&T, which was struggling to grow, is up by 49%. NTPC, which has not been untouchable because of the green environment, and so is up by 57%. And so is the case with Coal India, which is up by 52%. Adani, despite making a comeback, still down. Adani was down by 39%. But you look at the list: State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, I think is all dominated banks. The company that did not do well if you rewind back in 2023, almost every expert said banking should do well. In fact, there are many buy reports I have seen of HDFC Bank because HDFC going to get merged with HDFC Bank. But somehow it did not play out. And of course, you people know I did a webinar on HDFC Bank somewhere last year, and I did mention why HDFC Bank will continue to underperform. This rally is not only to India. As I was saying, risk on strategy is there globally. Nasdaq is up by 10.7% in a month. In a month! S&P 500 8.9, Dow Jones 8.7. Of course, Indian market underperform as compared to the US market. And if you look at YTD also, I think the US market has outperformed as compared to the Indian market. But if you look at, of course, Nasdaq has been more of a skewed kind of a stuff. But if you compare with Dow, India did better. But anyway, I don't know. It's unfair on my part to take one index and then compare with other. FI have turned positive, and the DI have been constantly buying, and they continue to buy. And they will keep buying it. Why? Because the inflow, SIP inflow has been very, very strong, and that we will see keep money coming in. Now, this is another interesting data that I have put. What happens in the last month of the year? Market chalta hai, nahi chalta hai. And if you want, you can take a screenshot of this, or you can take a picture of this so that you can consume little later. If you look at it, so I've given from 2007, right? 2007 because that's where we had global financial crisis coming in, and then we had this, okay? So what I did, but if you look at this part of this, so the right hand side, since 2015, only 2 times the small cap indexes closed in the red. That is in December 2016 and December 2022, that is last year. Mid cap, that happened 3 times. 16 में तो हुआ, लेकिन 19 में भी हुआ. And of course, 22 में तो सभी खराब था. There is a high probability that mid and small cap will close in the green in December 2023. Probability is very high that Nifty or Sensex may not be able to sustain the gain that we saw in the month of November. Coming to the exit poll, and 3rd December, that is on Sunday, and market will be able to discount that on Monday. Madhya Pradesh is a cliffhanger completely. Our sense is that BJP should form the government in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. In other words, Rajasthan, which was ruled by Congress, now will be ruled by BJP. And Madhya Pradesh anyway was ruled by BJP, so there is no gain there. So that's what the data, but of course we have given exit poll of various agencies so that you can get an idea about that. For Congress, there is a gain in terms of Telangana. Most probably Telangana, Congress should form the government and BRS may lose. And Chhattisgarh, anyway Congress was ruling and they will continue to retain that. So anti-incumbency, this doesn't seem to work in the Chhattisgarh. What should we expect going forward? We all know that 8 December, RBI is going to meet. Don't expect any rate cut or rate hike. Status quo. 13 December, FOMC will announce. Again, we expect no change. Status quo. We do expect volume in the month of December would be less than what we saw in the month of November. So if you look at this data, if I can again take you back there, if you look at, December 2022, it was down as compared to November 2022. If you look at November 2021, 66, it was only 53,957. So 2 years, to every December, we see a less volume on the market. And the reason is very simple, because a lot of institutional investors will go on Christmas holiday. Of course, I'll be here in front of you. I'm not going on a Christmas holiday. And due to that, the activity comes down during Diwali time or during Christmas time, during December. Our sense is that gold price will extend gain in the month of December. While small and mid cap can extend gains, large cap can see some amount of profit booking. But overall, 2023 will close on a positive note for the investors. If you remember, 2022 was more of a very, very panic kind of a mood. And I distinctly recollect 27 December 2022 market, those who were holding hope also, they gave up the hope. Many exited from the market in the panic. We are not going to see that happening in 2023. So 2023 will close on a very positive note. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. TVN Rao is asking, can we have FAQ questions and previous section on website? What is the cash suggested and cash flow in performance? So, sir, your suggestion taken. I will just take down the suggestion, pass it on to my colleague Karan, and Karan will do the needful based on the this one. What is cash adjusted and cash flow in performance? Sir, I don't know which section you are referring to. I am not getting your question right, sir. What is cash adjusted and cash flow in performance? Sir, I am not getting cash adjusted. Cash flow, I understand, but then when you are using both simultaneously cash adjusted and cash flow, I am getting a little confused, sir. If you can elaborate your question, I'll be more than happy to answer that. I mean, in case if Mr. Rao writes again, please help me. Please take this question so that we can answer that. Sushil is asking what to do with paper stocks. Please continue to hold. Gyanpal Singh sir asking why banks charge more on unsecured loans. Sir, security नहीं है ना सर वहाँ पे. कल उठ के आपने default कर दिया तो बैंक doesn't have a recourse to recover that money. Secured में क्या होता है, आपका हाउसिंग लोन लेते हो तो उसका तो घर है, आपने नहीं किया तो वो रिकवर कर सकता है. तो अनसिक्योर्ड लोन ग्लोबली, ऐसा नहीं हिंदुस्तान में होता है, ग्लोबली होता है कि अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स आर ऑलवेज कॉस्टली बिकॉज सिक्योरिटी नहीं है उसके पास, इसके लिए वो ज़्यादा आपसे इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करता है. सो दैट्स वाई बैंक चार्जेस यू मोर बिकॉज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ यू डिफॉल्टिंग इज वेरी हाई इन अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स. एंड सेकंड थिंग, सिंस दे डोंट हैव अ कवर, even RBI says you need to make more provision. When you give an unsecured loan, you need to make more provision. That is, my cost of capital goes up. Am I right? And if that is, how do I recover that? By charging you more to the customer. So that's why the bank cost are higher for the unsecured loans. Avishkar is saying, what is the procedure for PMS? Can you explain in details how much return can we expect in 2 to 3 years? So what I'll do, I will just jot down the email of it and we will, sorry. So we'll explain you in detail. This is not the forum where I can explain in great detail about the PMS because those who are not interested will get bored. So I'll ask someone from my team to get in touch with you and we'll explain you how you can come and get onboarded on PMS. Having said that, how much return we should expect in 2 to 3 years? So my request to you, sir, Avishkar sir, if your time horizon is only 2 to 3 years, please don't come to PMS. Why? Because equity by nature is volatile. And if you need that fund, maybe in the 2 or 3 years, market may be down and you'll be forced to make exit. So we suggest investors to come to PMS only they have a time horizon of minimum 3 years and beyond. And if that is so, and if that's comfortable with you, what kind of return you can make? We believe that Indian equity market should do reasonably well. Our sense is that equity, the Nifty 50 should give near about 14 to 15% CAGR. And our endeavor is to outperform that Nifty 50 significantly. So now you can make your calculations and you can imagine what kind of return you can make it. But my request to you, sir, please come to PMS only and only if your time horizon is minimum 3 years. Minimum 3 years. And I'll ask someone to get in touch with you, Aviskar sir, will help you more detail how you can come and onboarded on PMS service. Ajay Iyer sir is saying, Sunil ji, thanks for the excellent insight on the markets. The dollar index is going down steadily, whereas rupees pretty flat at 83. That seems to be why this is happening. If the US strengthens. You are right, sir. I think the dollar is one of the worst months for the dollar in the month of November. And the rupee remains almost same. So I'm not a forex expert why that is happening, to be honest with you. But what your observation is right. Will rupee weaken if the US strengthens? I don't think so. The reason I believe that, I think as long as the crude remains low, I think India also imported a lot of gold also. Let me tell you that. So that also created some amount of a pressure on rupee. Otherwise, rupee would have also appreciated against the dollar. But my sense is that India is in a very comfortable position. So I don't expect rupee to depreciate so much from this level. So even if the US to USD has to strengthen against other currencies, I don't think rupee should face a lot of pressure. That's what my sense is. In fact, if you remember, and of course I was proved wrong, if you remember in Jan 2023, I had predicted that rupee should be below 80, which has not happened. But if you look at last 1 year graph, rupee has not depreciated much. I think it's almost at the same level what it was there in the beginning of 2023. This despite US hiking a rate of interest. I'm just searching now India rupee rate. India rupee dollar USD. If I can I can show you the graph for last 1 year. No, so let me just change it to US dollar. Indian rupee, yes. So we were at 81.1. No, this is as on 31st. Not let me look at 31st December. We were at 82.75 on 31st. Oh no, yeah, 82.75. We are at 83.35. So yes, we have depreciated, but not so much. So yes, we have depreciated to that extent, but not so much. Despite we have seen rate hikes coming in from the Fed in 2023. Rajesh is saying, do you see Santa rally happening? Definitely yes, in mid and small cap, not in large cap. See, I must tell you that in January 2020, we predicted Nifty 20,100. We are above that level. And we are not changing our outlook on Nifty 50. So I think that gives you enough hint to what we are saying. Jayant is saying, if Sunilji, with China focusing on goods and services, can you give your opinion on impact on Indian IT and pharma, and especially wondering about the pharma API? Jayant sir, I think you had asked this question yesterday also. So I think you got it wrong. What I said is that China is now going to more focus on services and the consumption. And they're going to move away from the manufacturing and the real estate. If that's going to happen, I think so I don't see any impact on pharma API. Let's be very honest with you. So if your concern is that will it impact Indian pharmaceutical company, answer is no. In fact, China +1 is really playing out very well. And India will continue to get the benefit of that. Impact on Indian IT, answer is no. Zero impact. Sir is asking what is the outlook on oil price and metal sector in coming days. So metal looks little promising for the very simple reason. Why? Because China has to do well, the metal should do well because it's crude. And if you look at the copper prices in last couple of weeks have started moving up. So that gives some hope that metal should do well. As far as oil prices are concerned, we believe that its oil should remain in the same range. We don't expect any spurt in the coming days on the crude oil. I think it will remain in a very narrow range. Don't expect any movement upside or downside. So Lakshmi is asking, as you move to PMS, so we cannot ask stocks a question. In case we have to book profit in any stock, how can we find right time to do so? Or should we wait for more gain? In my holding now, there are multiple stocks with 100% return. But they are buy or hold in so not getting confidence to sell them. Lakshmi ji, come to PMS. Then that dilemma of yours, कौन सी कंपनी को कब बेचना है हम लोग कर लेंगे. Other option is that you go to the model portfolio on Markets for your website. And that model portfolio tell you when to exit from that company. So that's a choice you have. Third thing, you look at the score of the company, and if score is less than 60 and is going down, the price is going down, please exit. If the score is less than 60 but price is going up, don't exit till it's moving up. That's the three way you can do it. Come to PMS, go to model portfolio, or use score smartly to decide when to get out of that company. Mr. Rao has put that question. No, okay. Okay. Ashwin and Hari is saying, is your view on Nifty still intact 20? If so, what is the reason behind this target of Nifty? Sir, when I predicted in January 2023, तभी तो मार्केट में 20,000 बोला तो पब्लिक बोलता मैं पागल हूँ. Because पब्लिक का प्रेडिक्शन था मार्केट नीचे जाएगा. And I was the only one who predicted that Nifty will give gain in double digits. And when I was talking to some of the journalists, and you Google search, you will get in my interviews also published in Mint, Business Standard, Financial Express, Economic Times. And I said why we believe that. So I believe, what is the logic behind that target? Purely based on analysis. We looked at what kind of profit growth India can do, what kind of price to earning that India should command, what kind of liquidity that market should have. So it's a combination of various data points that we basically looked into, and then we arrived at the figure of 20,100. And we still maintain that logically Nifty 50 should close by 20,100 by December 2020. So it's not a very simple formula, sir, कि मैं आपको बोलूँगा X plus Y is equal to Z. ऐसा नहीं है. We had to make a lot of assumptions when we said 20,100. Fortunately, I proved right. I could have gone wrong also. Why? Because we are making certain assumptions. कि ये earnings growth होगा, India का growth इतना होगा, this would be the liquidity that India will have, and so on and so forth. And this could be the price to earning that we should command. Will there be a risk on or risk off strategy? Because remember, the same growth in the earnings and there is a risk off strategy, your number would be quite different than the risk on strategy. So whether the PE expansion will happen or not happen is also a function of whether it will be risk on or risk off strategy. So we look at various permutations and combinations, and based on that we came at 20,100. Same way, same time next month, I will come in front of you and I'll make a prediction. Where do we see Sensex and Nifty by December 2024? Money content says, yes, please consider to keep the model portfolio for our reference, because we have a PMA account opening still taking under progress. At least we can watch the portfolio. Hope positive response. Point taken, sir. See, sir, try to understand. The reason why we have been forced to close our Infinity service is that we are running a risk of a regulator, because we are advising the same strategy on IA license and the PMS license. More the delay from our side, more the regulatory risk that we run into. And, we have continued that service for NIS customers little longer. Now, there is a point where somewhere we have to basically pull the plug. Otherwise, we could run into a problem. My request is that I'll ask my team, why is it taking so much time for you to onboard you on PMS service, sir? The best thing is that, sir, I'll ask my team to basically figure out where do you stand. It was going to take a couple of days only for you to start onboarding on PMS service. In fact, today we met one customer who is also an NRI and have some issue with the PS. But I think that will get resolved soon, so that customer will be able to onboard in next couple of days. That's what I've been informed. So, sir, we need to figure out where do you see, where are you in the process of PMS? Now, if you have not started or you are very far, then that means even if you have to continue, then I have to continue for 1 month, 2 months. That's really too long. So let me figure it out. So just write an email to us, connect@mojopms.com, and we'll see what best we can do that, sir. I'm not promising anything on this right now. Nirav is saying, please make one section in Mojo where you can share your PPT that is useful to us, like today's PPT. That's a good suggestion, sir. So we will see whether we can even share the link of the video also, today's video. But your point taken, I think I will just forward this message to me. I'll definitely discuss internally and we'll come back to you what best we can do that. Vishal is asking, can you please provide option to move stock from portfolio A to portfolio B? Currently, there is no such option. We have to delete the portfolio and move into named portfolio. Thank you in advance. Vishal, point taken. I'll ask my colleague, Karan Batra, whether that is possible or not. So, Amir, please forward this message to Karan, please. And Karan will be there with you in front of you on Monday. My request would be to whatever the product related changes you want, please ask Karan Batra. He is the right person and he will be able to take a call on that. I will not be able to take a call because I'm in the PMS side of the business, and where I will not be able to. The only thing I'll do a postman job, taking your message and passing it on to him. That's the best what I can do. As per your reply to Lakshmi, except PMS, PMM can't help to enter script at the right time and can't help to book profit as well. Is it? No, sir, I think you did not get my, or either you heard me wrongly or you heard me only partly. I said there are 3 options, and again repeat for the benefit of everyone. Come to PMS, come to model portfolio, because in model portfolio we tell you entry also and exit also, or use score to decide entry and exit. So we do help you to book profit as well, sir. So I think you heard only half of my reply, or you chose to pick up what suits you and you ignored what I said later. So if you go back to my video also, I said that time also same thing. I repeated for the same thing for you, sir. Rohan is asking, which index do you select for stock for PMS and what is the benchmark index in PMS? So sir, now SEBI has come out very clearly. They given a choice. These are the index that you need to pick and choose. As a fund manager, we don't have a PMS house, we don't have a choice also to, we cannot now, कि मुझे ये index अच्छा लगा तो मैं ये ले लूँगा benchmark के लिए. Among the choice given by the SEBI, we have taken BSE 500 as our benchmark, because we can't take large cap as a benchmark because we have more focus on mid and small cap. So we have to choose a diversified benchmark called BSE 500. So our benchmark index is BSE 500 in our PMS, both soul as well as power. Mangesh sir is saying, I've been Mojo professional for 3 years and subscribed till 2013. I've seen your model portfolio is up by 6%. Let's start to infinity soul and powerful before moving to PS. More than 20%. It's clearly so that your focus was not on model portfolio. Mangesh sir, it will be not a very fair comment. I'll be very honest with you. I'm happy that your PMS has done extremely well. Infinity did extremely well. But our focus is very much there on model portfolio. The only difference, and we have kept saying that, not today. The day we launched Infinity, we said that that Mojo Infinity and now Mojo PMS will always outperform the model portfolio. The reason is very simple, because we have different IPs, superior IP there. So we have not, nowhere in our webinar we said that model portfolio give you higher returns as compared to the Mojo Infinity. Nowhere. And again I repeat for you, sir, Mangesh sir, Mojo PMS will always offer higher returns as compared to model portfolio. Because we have done the back testing, and that's what that our data point suggests so. That's why anyone, those who have 50 lakhs and more, we are happy to onboard them on the PMS. For some reason, if you don't have 50 lakhs, then the SEBI guidelines says you cannot take customers less than 50 lakhs. Hence, I can't onboard you. But again, I repeat, model portfolio logically should underperform the Mojo PMS. Anshul is asking, hello sir, please share your view on the demand in lab-grown diamond and natural diamond, domestic and international. So this clearly my personal view, okay. My sense is that lab-grown diamond price will keep falling. It has fallen by almost 50% or so in last 1 year or so. And it will keep falling. Eventually, lab-grown diamond would be very similar to the American diamonds. Because, you know, the reason I am saying so, जब किसी भी चीज पे सप्लाई पे कंट्रोल नहीं होता है तो उसका प्राइस सस्टेन नहीं हो पाता है. You need to control the supply. Now, इसका सप्लाई कंट्रोल नहीं होगा, because more and more people keep putting lab grown diamond. जब सप्लाई बढ़ेगी तो डिमांड तो इतना बढ़ने नहीं वाला है, तो it will keep putting a pressure on the prices. Natural diamond prices have come down, and one of the reason is that a lot of people now looking at comparing the lab grown diamond and the natural diamond, and hence some of the demand is moving away from natural diamond to the lab grown diamond. In other words, the demand for natural diamond is also shrinking. My sense is that 20-25% in last 1 year the natural diamond prices have come down. My sense that it will keep coming, it will remain under pressure. So I do expect more fall in the lab grown diamond, and I expect natural diamond to stabilize some at lower level. But I think you should not expect the natural diamond prices to go up in the near future, purely because of demand and supply. Rajesh is saying, how is the chemical sector being affected? My sense is that chemical sector should do well. I think somewhere the underperformance that we have seen in the chemical sector in the last 1.5 years, I think is ripe for the uptrend. Whether it happens in 1 month, 3 months or 6 months, but the risk reward is definitely in the favor of reward. So chemical sector looks little promising. How sector being affected, in what sense, I don't know, sir. Our sense is the chemical sector should do reasonably well. Please pardon me, I think somehow I might have a very bad nose actually. Cold seems to have basically affected me, so that's creating a problem for me. But anyway, what are the charges and eligibility criteria for PMS? Ranjit sir, anyone who has 50 lakhs and more, we can onboard you in PMS service. In fact, we had 1 crore for Mojo PMS markets, Mojo professional customers. We have reduced that entry amount to only 50 lakhs, not 1 crore. So if you have 50 lakhs, we will be happy to onboard you on PMS. Eligibility that you should come with minimum 3 years. That's what the eligibility is. And you should be able to stomach the volatility. Why? Because these both are high risk, high return strategy. Our charges are very nominal. We have a skin in the game, in the sense our fixed fees are only 0.75% per annum. 0.75%, which will be charged equally monthly. And that's also at the end of the month. And if you make money, then there's a 15% profit sharing with higher watermark. In other words, to earn 1 rupee for us in a performance fee, we need to make 6 rupees for you after our 1 rupee. So in other words, your interest and our interest completely aligned in PMS. But if you want more details, I'll be more than happy to ask my team to get in touch with you please pass on your email ID and someone will get in touch with you and your mobile number. I know we will have more questions, but it's almost 1 hour now. I don't want it to hold you back. It's a weekend. Spend some good quiet time with your family. Have a great weekend. Do watch the election result on 3rd December, that is on Sunday. And again, our team will be in front of you on Monday. Karan will be in there. And of course, I will meet you more often, even next week. With this, take a great time. Have a great time. Enjoy your great weekend. Good night. Take care.